One can be used to sew onto a garment, or you can also put it in your hair. You can put it as a bow tie. You can put it on your pet. This one is kind of what I'm known for in like the costuming world. When I have a booth, I make bows like these and I sell them. And so we're gonna make one today with some snowflakes in honor of winter and snow. And then this is just a cute little bow made out of ribbon that we are gonna make for like gift wrapping. You could turn it into an ornament. You could put it on a wreath. You could scale it up and make it like a really big bow if you wanted to put it on your car. So yeah, that is what we're up to tonight. All right, so I am starting out with just your basic cotton. This is actually a cotton that I use to do mock-ups with, and I cut out a 5" by 7" piece. I did 2 pieces and a piece of inner facing, and I sewed them up and I flipped it. And this is what our base for our little hair bow, dog bow, whatever bow kind of, whoever wants to wear a bow. And you could actually sew those onto gifts as well if that's what you want. I mean, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want with them. So we're gonna put some snowflakes on these. And something that I tell people with garment making is, since it's a 3-dimensional item, you want to put your rhinestones on when it's as flat as it can be. So like the last step before making it 3-dimensional. So we're gonna do rhinestones now. And I've chosen these 2 beauties because I know that they'll fit on my surface. If you wanted to do a massive bow, you could use something larger, but I know that these 2 will fit. And something that I like to do before I even like start any kind of project is put my magnets on to make sure, okay, like are these places that it'll fit? When I did it for Sally, I actually had to like keep the sleeve completely flat before I added rhinestones, and then I placed them all over the place, and it really helped. And that's why I like that these come out, is because like I can just place as many as I want and visually see, okay, that is where, like how many I can fit, or maybe I can fit like this many, and then let's come back and see how many more I can get on. My favorite part is pouring out rhinestones, y'all. This is my favorite part. It feels like a kid playing in the sandbox. I'm just using the regular crystals for this. I thought about using blue ones because snowflakes, but I wasn't that creative today. And I'm just gonna kind of gently move my crystals around, fill up my stencils, and then once I've gotten them full, I can start actually just lightly rubbing them around and then adding more, because these are 3mm hot fix rhinestones, and the back of them basically has an adhesive on them that will adhere to your whatever you're using. I've used these on polyester, silk, and cotton now, and also ribbon. That was a first for me. And they adhere extremely well. Like, I was almost shocked the first time I did it because I messed one up and I couldn't take it off. And I was like, well, I'm just going to make it a happy accident. We're going to add a bunch of random ones everywhere. And it ended up working out in my favor. But I was like so shocked because I'm used to rhinestones that are like, will just fall off. And so when I started working with these and they didn't fall off, I was like, this is the best thing ever. All right, now we have transfer tape or transfer paper, and they come in full sheets about this size. And what I like to do when I know I'm doing something smaller is cut them into the shapes, like the sizes that I need, because I also am not, I don't like to waste, right? So we want to kind of be able to take one big sheet of paper and use it a few times. It's kind of like when you're using fabric, right? You don't want to like just throw out a half yard of fabric. So we are going to pull this back. Oh, yes. Now this is so cool. Just go rub it around just like that. All right. And then I like to put my finger down on the magnet, or like my nail, to kind of hold it down, and then we can flip it. And if you can see, this is my glue. And this is my sparkle. All right, we're gonna set this with our cotton and we're gonna get the second one because now is like the perma placement. So we're gonna do a second placement test before we actually like commit. You know how it is. You don't want to commit until you know exactly how it's gonna look. All right. You just want to make sure all of your crystals are in there. Nice and pretty. All right, and then I'm gonna put my finger down like that. All right. Yay. I'm gonna set that aside and move this just for now. Don't worry, the bling will be back. And so I have, this is the bottom of my bow and I have it facing you guys so you guys get a little bit of a better like view of it. And we are just, I like asymmetry. It's like one of my, I don't know, like I like asymmetry. So I'm gonna have one of mine up here and then another one kind of lower down here. But before I actually press it, I really want to make sure that I have an understanding of where my middle bow piece is going to be. So I like to make sure that I put that down as well. And then I can see, oh, wow, that's really close to the edge. Maybe we should bring it in a little bit more so that we don't risk, like when we go to fold it, folding and losing some of those stones, like having those stones missing. Because the whole point is like, if you're going to bling something, you want to see it, right? So if I put this way up here, once it starts to fold, you're going to start to lose the sight of these. And I don't want that. So we're going to bring this down. We're going to bring this up just a tiny bit. And what I like to is you can kind of use your transfer paper. Transfer paper. Promise, I'm not in high school. And we're just going to hold it in place. All right, and now I really like the way that looks. I mean, what do you guys think? Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty close to the first one, actually. I didn't realize that I was kind of doing the exact same. I thought I was being clever and like, let's mix it up. But you know, when it works, it works. All right, so now I'm going to be using a mini iron, mainly because I love this iron and it's perfect for rhinestones. If you have a larger piece, obviously, I would go with a larger iron. And then something too that I like to do is make sure that I use the center of my iron versus the tip of it. Just because I on occasion when I've rhinestoned the rounder part of it, I'll accidentally miss a stone just because I don't like look on all the sides. But when I use the center, it's fine. And I typically count to 20 Mississippi in my head. So like about 40 seconds essentially, because I'm a slow Mississippier. We're using natural cotton right now, so we don't have to worry about things like if you're using a polyester, how it irons will burn it. And typically what I would do if I was using a polyester, which I have used this on before, I just put a cloth between it and then hold it a little longer, and then I do a touch test. I don't recommend that if you're a child. Please do this with your parents' supervision, but like I'll just touch it to make sure like, okay, yeah, this is pretty well on there. And you can start to see it too, actually. If you look inside, you'll see like a slight little like dent kind of from the stone. And that is how you know your stone is, ooh, it's right there. It's like, it's in its spot. So now we're gonna do it on the other side. And again, we're just gonna hold it. Something about glue in general, this is whether you're using glue on rhinestones or like us, you know, I did adhesive for stabilizers. The glue normally sets once it starts cooling. So you use basically our heat to warm it up and get it to kind of want to stick to things, but it will set itself once it's cool. And so you really want to make sure that like it has had time to set before you start like wiggling these around and actually making your bow or whatever it is that you're making. So when I do a garment, like I did a sleeve, I did the whole sleeve and I actually set it for about 30 minutes. You don't need to do that long if you're doing a sleeve or something, but I did it for 30 minutes because I had to do the next bow or the next sleeve. And I was like, might as well set this one while the other one is drying, or like let this dry and cool. And I also have like, I can touch really hot things and not have issues with them. But so, all right, so now if you really just wanted to have a cute little flat piece of fabric, you could just stop here. But we don't want to do that. We want a hair bow. We want to have matching bows. So we're gonna, I'm gonna set my iron aside and I'm gonna pull out my hot glue gun real quick. Now, I know I don't need to tell you guys this, but hot glue is hot, okay? It's hot. So, you know, you have been warned. All right, and I'm gonna be using a silicone mat underneath this just because I don't wanna ruin my ironing board. And I apologize, I did not clean my mat before this, so there is a little bit of glue left over from other projects. All right, so we know now this strip of fabric is 2 inches by like 6 inches, maybe 5.5. This is what's gonna wrap around the center. And I just pressed it kind of in thirds so that you can have it wrap around so it's clean this way. We're gonna set that aside real quick and we're just gonna use this piece first. And I'm gonna fold it in half towards towards you guys. And then I'm going to fold it backwards like so and like so. And what I like to do right here before I add any hot glue to kind of glue this together is I like to kind of get an idea of, you know, what's my bow gonna look like, right? Like that's the best part about this. What's it gonna look like? So I typically will shape it and play with it a little before I add any glue. And then when I'm happy with how it looks, you know, they're like cousins or something. They look alike, you know, they could dance, yeah, sisters. Anyway, any white Christmas fans out there? And now I'm just going to take just the tiniest bit of glue right in the center. We're gonna start there. And we don't want the glue to get too wide or else you will see it. And I might have gotten a little too wide right here. But then I'm also gonna just get a little bit here, a little bit there. And remember, this is hot. So like you don't want to put too much and then have it spill over onto your fingers. I'm like trying to watch real carefully, make sure I don't touch it. And we can always clean up our glue strings later, but now we're gonna flip it over. Well, I'm gonna touch it first. Okay, yeah, so it's pretty cool now. Like it's not gonna hurt. It's just gonna make my fingers a little sticky, which is fine. You know, it's part of the crafting life. You have thread all over you. You find rhinestones on your floor. You got your dog is covered in glitter, you know. So we just added just a little bit here and then in there. And I just like to spread it around a little. I have tools to go with this mat and I left them in my little drawer over there. But basically I have a little silicone tool that I can just spread that with. But once it dries, it'll basically look like that. We can pick any of these away that we want. And now we can basically hide this center gather piece with our fabric. And this fabric is a really great base if you're gonna add any kind of like a cameo in the center or a clip to put it on or anything like that. So I'm gonna start at the back here with my fabric like that. And I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue like so. Not too much, but also not like enough to be like, you want enough for it to stick. And it's okay that this is showing right here because we're actually going to wrap it around. So you can keep this edge clean, but we will clean up the edge once we get all the way to the other side of it. So now that we're here, we are just going to, you kind of want to use your fingers as tension and we're just going to wrap this around. And I'll do this this way so you can see I'm going to pull on this and I'm just going to use my fingers again as tension to kind of move things the way I want them to go. And then once we've made it to the other side, you can go for, you know, a 2 loop-de-loop if you want. I think this one will be long enough. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll commit to 2 loop-de-loops. So now that we're here, we want to take We want to tuck this under, but we want to glue it down first. So I'm going to put just the tiniest glue right there. And again, using my mat, if I have my tools, I could just fold it under like so. All right, and then the last one will just be to tack it here. Again, that was just to get all that like little, I don't know what it's called, like the not clean edge, the unfinished edge, that's the term. All right, so then we're just gonna go like that. Now at this point too, once this cools, if you really wanted to be that extra, you could add little ones anywhere you want. You could add a row in the middle. I even thought about like, should I put a row in the middle? But we're gonna leave it here for now because we want these to match, because my dog and I are gonna have matching bows this week, I've decided. She's gonna get one and I'm gonna get one. She's gonna hate me for it, but you know what? It's life. She'll look so dang cute. So here we are, we just made a bow. You can see it's super glittery. Obviously you don't have to go with like snowflakes. You could go with the spiral. Spiral is what we're using next. It would be the same process. But it's just cute and fun. And this would actually be a great gift too if you just want to gift a bow. All right. So we got cute little bows, and now let's get to the gift wrapping ones. So we're gonna make one of these, and I will give you guys the measurements for the strips of ribbon now and at the end if you would like me to repeat them. So we're gonna cut, this is 1.5 inch ribbon with wire in it. And we have a 5-inch piece. And this is like, it's got like the velvet on the inside. It's really kind of cool. I have, wait, I gotta get them. I mixed them all up already. I have 2 12-inch pieces. So 2 of these guys. And then this one should be 14 inches. All right, so we're gonna set the 4 and the 14 aside. And we're gonna take one of our 12-inch pieces and I'm gonna fold it in half. And then I'm going to actually cut it in half. So we're gonna go like this. And these are not my good scissors. I know they're Fiskars, but they're not my fabric scissors. They came with like a really messed up spring, and ever since then they've been my like everything but fabric scissors, because they still work. It's just their spring is messed up. So we're also gonna cut just like a little bit of an angle like that, so that these will be our tails. And I'm doing spirals on this one. Again, you could go and you could do snowflakes. You could do like happy holidays. I'm sure there's like, you could do a star, There's so many different like smaller stencils that you could use that, like I've said, make what you dream. But I like spirals. I just really like them. Also, I really wanted to use 2.5 inch ribbon, but this is what I had, what I had in my studio. Again, trying not to be wasteful. It's part of my thing for the year. I was trying not to buy things I didn't need and use what I already have. It's really hard when all you want to do is sew everything. All right, we're gonna put this down. There we go. All right, I am only going to use, which ones did I use? These 2. And actually we'll use these 2. These ones look a little fuller. We're going to use these 2. We're going off script, guys. So we're going to use these 2. And again, I'm just going to take and fill this in. This is also the stencil I used for that ball gown that I made of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. I used the snowflakes on Elsa from Frozen. She is one of my favorite characters, and I just wanted to have a snowy flurry on my ball gown, so I did it. I added all the things. I did much better this time. I should have done a warm-up. I knew it. All right, so now we're just gonna place this one here, and I'm also gonna place this one here, but I'm gonna sweep away. Sweep these away. that. And so once again, we're working on our little tails, and we're just going to put 2 at the bottom of the tails. And when I do something like this, I try to make sure, so like we're going to pick up this stone here. I just want to make sure that I pull this stone and these stones off before I actually pick it up. Otherwise, I'm going to have rogue stones, guys. And you know, you don't want your bling to go rogue on you. You never know. All right, so I'm just going to just take these guys off. We don't need them today. Or maybe they'll get used on the next one, who knows? We got one spiral here, and I'm gonna set that there with, again, with the sticky side like facing me. I know I didn't say that on the last one, but it's not a fun time when you accidentally put your transfer tape with your perfect rhinestone decoration. Like, look at that. Down, like the wrong side down. Or when you move your tray, I've done that too. I accidentally moved my tray in the middle of rhinestoning. All right, so for this one, I actually do need to snag a pressing cloth. One thing I forgot. All right, the only reason I need to snag a pressing cloth is because while making this, I realized that if I don't do this right, I will accidentally burn off some of this gold. So I want to give this to a friend. So I really want to make this one like perfect, y'all. And I want these spirals to kind of go like so. I might not need this pressing cloth. If I do it this way, I might be fine. Yeah, that's how I want it. Okay, so again, with the iron, and I am gonna try, no pressing cloth, doing the thing. All right, so this is my like just cotton cloth, and I'm really just putting it on again to protect this. It's not a natural fiber, so we don't want to burn it. And I'm gonna feel around and make sure everything's, is it all still good? It's all still good. All right, there we go. So this is also how I had to do it for one of my Elsa dresses. I decided I wanted to add it to organza, and organza is a very thin material. And so I also had to put parchment paper on the bottom of it to make sure that the rhinestones wouldn't stick through to my top. It's pretty comical when you learn these things the hard way. All right, then we're gonna just go right on over here. I'm actually, while that one's setting, yes, we didn't burn it this time. You guys, I'm doing it. I also played around with one of these bows out of a different ribbon I had, and I didn't like the way it looked. It was silver on silver, and you couldn't see the sparkle. And I was like, oh, I need to put parchment paper down on this. But see, there we go. That looks much better. Second time's a charm, y'all. All right, so I did actually not pick up a stone there, and I can always fill that in with a hot fix tool, or if you are really like crazy like I am, I'm just going to place it by hand. And that was just kind of my fault for not paying attention to the missing stone. I was like, look, it's perfect. And then we're just gonna lift, and there we go. Now, something that I like to note too when I am using stones, if I go to reset them, it means that you're kind of like heating the other ones up again, and you just want to make sure that you don't like move them too. All right, so these are our tails of our bow. And while we have the hot glue right next to us, we're just going to glue them together at the top and then set them aside. So I'm going to put it down there, like that, and like that. And I did learn that the hot glue will seep through, which is why we have a little bow wrapper here. And this will come in handy in a hot second. So the next piece that I want to take out, ooh, look at that, that's so pretty. The next piece I want to take out is actually the other 12-inch piece. And so what is going to happen is I am going to glue these together. So I kind of want to try to visualize where is my center. So like about here, and I'm just going to mark it. And then we also want to visualize, all right, well, if it's going to be folded under, maybe, and you can use math too. Like if you want to just properly mark it, you can. This is the wild, wild west in my studio. We do things a little crazy up in here. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball it and pick, like, I want them to go here. Maybe like right here. That's not even half. That goes over. Yeah, okay. So let's make some more spirals. Bringing back the stones. Ooh. All right, so do I want to do these ones? I think I do. I think I want to do that one and this one. They're a little different. Well, what's the size on them? No, we'll do the same two we did. See, when you have this many options, it's so hard to decide, like, what do I want to do? I'm perpetually indecisive too. This is probably why I can't make things as fast as I think I can. I'm like, let's try 10 different like sets of stones and see. Let's mix purple and blue and black and pink, not really. It was pink that I used on Sally, not purple, but you guys get the gist. And then we're just gonna flip these. So again, this tool just, it acts like a broom basically, and it just pushes them around. It pushes them where you want. If you wanted to do like an entire section of something with swirls, you could cut out like a larger piece of transfer tape and basically just sweep it all into all the crevices you want and then put it on down there. We're gonna stick with the small ones just because bows are pretty small when you think about it. I watched one lady make a wreath on YouTube and like the bow, ooh, look, there's a stone missing. We caught it. The bow that she put on it was so big. I was like, dang, I kind of want a wreath with a bow that's like bigger than my head. That sounds awesome. So now I'm gonna make one, I think, at some point. And then we're just gonna move these. I like rhinestones because they stick to my fingers. So do beads though too. I do that with beads all the time. I just like touch them with my finger and move them. It makes me feel like I'm a magician. I know it's all just science, but sometimes you just gotta really hope that you're gonna get that letter when you're 11 years old that you've gotten into Hogwarts. All right. So this one looks good. We're gonna double check this time so we don't no rogue rhinestones here, guys. And now what about this one? Yeah, that one looks good too. All right. This is gonna, okay, bye rhinestone tray. We'll see you in a hot minute. All right, so we'll bring back our ribbon. This one is 12 inches because the 14-inch one will go under it. And we are gonna think of it as like, this one's going over that. Okay. And now, luckily, again, because the transfer tape is see-through, you can, if you want, place it. And I want them to go in a different direction than this. I don't want them to go exactly the same. Again, I like things like different and like, I don't know, I just like to play with it. And then I'm also, like in the last one, going to pull our little fake centerpiece and just place it so I get an idea of like, all right, we can move this one over just a bit. You don't want to do too much though, because you are going to be folding it, like bending it. And you want to make sure that there's space to see your design. Otherwise, half of it gets missing and then, you know, you lose out on a pretty design. All right, and then we're going to have this one go this way. And, woo, cool. All right. So that's how we're going to place this. And then once again, I am going to bring out my, I'm going to make sure this sticks, and then I'm gonna just pull out a pressing cloth. This is, again, just a piece of cotton cloth, really, that I use just to have as a barrier between anything that can melt. And it also is good to know that you can use kind of these things on things that melt if you take the proper precautions. So we're gonna go this way, and I can feel that this set is here. And then while we move over to this set, I will just look and make sure they all look real nice. One last little pop over there. Oh yeah, those look so sparkly. This is gonna be so good. I've got to wrap presents after this tonight. I waited until after tonight because I was like, I want to use this bow for my friend Catherine's gift. She has been so helpful with my dog this year. There we go. All right, so now that our piece is done, if we wanted to be that extra, we could add some more for this center piece. We could add one here, but I think it's time to put together our bow. So to do this, we already know that we want to make this a circle, like an oval, and we want this side to overlap. So we're going to just get a piece of glue on it. Right there. Just like that. Oops, I didn't put my mat down. There we go. And once again, my mat is just to keep my ironing board from getting hot glue on it, because when I go to iron fabric tomorrow, I don't want to have hot glue. That would be so bad. All right, we're gonna just set that aside, and we'll do this second piece. Do not roll off the table. No one gave you permission to run away. All right, we're gonna just glue this down. Again, it was 2 12 by 1.5 inch pieces, a 14-inch piece, and I think this is about 5 inches. It could be 4.5, but let's say 5 just in case. All right, so now I'm gonna take, and this is gonna be my bottom bow, and I'm just gonna squish it down like this. You can squish, what's really great about the wire ribbon is that you can mold it and shape it. So if you wanted to do some crazy twisting and all that other stuff, you totally can. I'm just showing you how to make a very basic bow, one that will really just allow your rhinestones to kind of be the star of the show. That was kind of my intention for the bow, was yeah, there's a million things you can do with them, but this is all about the bling. We want them to we want these rhinestones to have a place on our packages and gifts where they really get to shine, you know? All right, so now I'm going to put some hot glue in the middle, and I'm going to press this one down and hold it. And again, you can clean up the strings after if you want. A great way to clean up glue strings, at least that I like to use, is a lint roller. And then now, moment of truth, y'all. Let's see if this folds and looks nice and even. Yeah. Ooh, look how sparkly. All right, and I'm gonna hold this one just for a little extra longer, because basically now these are all gonna start bending and taking the shape that we want. And if you don't want to hold it, you can always use a wonder clip and clip it and come back to it. If you were making 4 or 5 of them for a bunch of gifts, you could do something like that. All right, so the last 2 steps, the first thing we want to do is wrap this around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and bend it. So you can bend this wire, and then we're going to bend this wire like so. and glue it down. If you wanted to sew these, you totally can. They are a little bit papery, so I would suggest like some sort of like a pretty sharp needle to get through them, but you can totally sew them down by hand. And you can also add, like I would tape this on. I have double-sided tape that I use to wrap my packages because we're ridiculous. We reuse bows. So like when we get a gift, we save it and we add double-sided tape. So now I'm just gonna add a decent amount of glue just for this. Yes. Oh yeah. And now, if you line it all up, you can get it like that. And then you got a cute little bow.